Hello and welcome back to EVE Online, a tutorial series. So picking up where we left off with the Venture here with its two mining lasers, and in this particular episode I'm going to talk a little bit more about what kind of equipment and skills can make your mining more efficient and more effective. So first off, just a quick overview on the mining lasers themselves. I know I did go over this a bit, but I figure I'd do a little bit more detail on it. The Miner 1 is your basic introductory mining laser. There's a few different variants on it. As you can see here, the Miner 2 is usually the next upgrade. Let me pull up compare here so you guys can get a sense on, let's see, how exactly that all works. So the important attributes with mining lasers are activation cost, mining amount, optimal range, activation time, and the fitting requirements. And that's taking up a lot of space there. Okay, so the important ones I want to focus on are the Miner 1 and Miner 2. So the rest of these are a little bit more specialized and a bit more nuanced. Well, specialized is the wrong word, but these are the core mining lasers. Now, Miner 1 is your basic one. It has a base mining amount of 40 cubic meters per cycle, and its cycle time is 60 seconds. And it takes 10 gigajoules of energy to activate. So the most important numbers here, the absolute most important numbers, are going to be mining amount and activation time. Now, you can notice the Miner 2 has more mining amount, 50% more mining amount for the same activation time. You'll also notice that it has a significantly higher energy cost, has a higher power grid, and a higher CPU usage. So it's harder to fit, but it will get you more, and its optimal range is higher as well, so you can mine from farther away. There's one other difference between the Miner 1 and the Miner 2 as well. So the Miner 1 prerequisites, mining's level 1. The Miner 2, mining level 4. So you need to have some pretty good skills in order to use it. You don't need mining level 5, thankfully, because that would take a while, but you do need to be reasonably proficient with your mining skill. So, your mining amount and your activation time / duration is always going to be the most important attributes. The higher your mining amount is, the more you take in per cycle, which is the activation time. The lower your activation time, the faster you bring it in. The faster you bring in that mining amount. So obviously you want a high mining amount with a low activation time. Now, you'll notice the activation time for all these mining lasers is consistent at 60 seconds. And that tends to be the theme. All the different major variations on mining lasers will usually have the same activation times. For ores anyways. For ice and gas, it's a little bit different, but I'll be getting into those later. So, that is your basic mining laser. That's just, you throw it on, you mine it, just like we did in the last episode. There's a few other things, however, a few other modules that can enhance your mining ability. And if I can type properly, and great, I don't have one on me. Wonderful. All right, time to go to the market. So, under ship equipment, harvest equipment, mining upgrades, there is a mining laser upgrade, and there's the 1 variant and the 2 variant. I'll buy one of these just for the heck of it. So I've got it right. There we are. Mining laser 1. Okay. So this is a module that improves your mining ability. You can see by the description, increases the yield on mining lasers, but causes them to use more CPU. So, what does that mean exactly? Mining amount bonus, 5%. CPU penalty, 10%. So let's see what happens when I fit it. This is a low slot, you can tell by the little icon there, and that matches up with this icon here. So, here, I've got these 2 mining lasers, these Miner 1's fitted. Let's take a look at my CPU. It's got 190 available out of 310. And let's take a look at the stats that I've got on these miners here. So it increases the mining amount, which is this number, the 143.75. So I'll drag this on and watch the CPU. 151 out of 310. It consumes more. So I don't have as much CPU to work with when I do this. And the effect is more pronounced with the miner 2s, because they take up even more CPU than the miner 1s. So, you know, as you get better equipment, you need better ships in order to be able to use it. So the old value with this was 143.75 per cycle. The new value, 150.94. That's the 5% bonus from using the mining laser upgrade 1. So that will increase the amount that comes in. There are other ways to do that as well, but they're skill-based. Let me open up the skills here and give you a sense on that. And if I remember correctly, the mining skill is under industry. Yes, okay. So mining. And I showed you this before, but I'll show it again. Mining skill. Skill at using mining lasers. 5% bonus to mining turret yield per level. Now, this needs a little bit of clarification. What this is saying, and this is how all skills work, is that for each level of that skill, you're going to get a bonus. The way the bonus is calculated is at level 1, your mining amount is going to be multiplied by 1, on the laser is going to be multiplied by 1.05. At level 2, it's going to be multiplied by 1.1. At level 3, at 1.15, all the way up to level 5, which will be 1.25. Now, this is an important thing, that skills individually like that are additive on the multiplier. So you've got a base multiplier that you have to work with that's going to enhance something, and the skill, an individual skill within its levels, is going to be additive to that multiplier. So 1.05, 1.10, 1.15, 1.20, 1.25. Now let me show you another skill that gives a boost to mining, and I actually forgot about this in the last video. I apologize for that. This one's under science, and it's astrogeology. Skill at analyzing the content of celestial objects with the intent of mining them. 5% bonus to mining turret yield per skill level. It does the same thing as mining. Now, what one might think is that you get mining to level 5 and you have a 25% boost. You get astrogeology to level 5 and you've got a total 50% boost. Not quite the case. So astrogeology, if you don't have any skills in mining, which, you know, looking at the prerequisites, you can't have, you need to have mining at a certain level, but let's assume that we ignore mining's bonus completely. Astrogeology is going to go on the same progression as mining. So the first level of astrogeology is 5, and then 10, 15, 20, 25%. Since they're separate skills, though, they multiply each other. So you have mining at max and astrogeology at max. You're getting 1.25 times 1.25 of a boost. So if you do the math on that, 1.25 times 1.25, 1.5625. You have multipliers multiplying each other when they're from separate skills. So that's an important thing to know, in that you tend, if you have the choice, you want to try to, you get more of a boost from leveling up separate skills than you do from really drilling into one skill if they're additive like this. So that's really, really handy. And yeah, now astrogeology is like an advanced mining skill, since, you know, it needs mining up to level 4 in order to use it, and also science up to level 4, which are both relatively easy to do. You can do that in like 3 days, maybe a little less, depending on how you've allocated your initial attributes. And it's a big help. I mean, just to give you an example, going back here, we'll actually go through the math. And I know this is tedious, but this is also kind of important. It's going through the math is something that if you really dig into mining is something you're going to want to do. So let's actually disable this for the moment. I don't want to add too many modifiers in on this. So, and let's take a look at the base stats here for there we are. Mining amount, miner 1, 40 cubic meters every cycle. Now, let's go through the math. 40 cubic meters a cycle, and we're going to multiply that because I have mining level 5 by 1.25, which brings us up to 50. That's the 25% bonus that I get from my mining. Going to multiply 50 by another 1.25 because that's the bonus from astrogeology. That brings me up to 62.5. Now, on top of that, because I've got it fitted to the venture, I'm getting additional bonuses. I'll start with the roll bonus, 100% bonus to mining yield. So 62.5 times 2, doubling it, 125. In addition, there's the 5% bonus to mining yield per skill level. Now, it's not a roll bonus, it's a mining frigate skill bonus. So, like with the separate skills, it multiplies with the roll bonus. It doesn't add to it, it multiplies with it. So, we now have 125 after factoring in the roll bonus, and my skill at mining frigate is not quite as good as my other stuff, since it's still relatively new for me. Mining frigate. There we are. Mining frigate is level 3, so 5% per level, 3 levels, 15%. So 125 is going to be multiplied by 1.15 for a final number of 143.75, which is exactly what's listed here. And then with our mining laser upgrade, if we turn it back online and re-show the info, 150.94, and the mining laser upgrade provides a 5% boost. So multiply by 1.05 from our 143, 150.9375. And Eve will always do rounding to the second decimal place. Well, not necessarily always, but at least with mining amounts. So that is how we arrive at the amount of mining. And you'll see how important a lot of these cumulative effects can be. You know, you get like a small improvement on one thing, and a small improvement from another thing, and a small improvement from this, and a small improvement from that, and they accumulate together into big improvements. And that's one of the real values of, you know, really pushing for good equipment and good skills. So to give you another example of that, let me unfit one of these miner ones, and there it is. Fit a miner 2. Now you'll notice with just one miner 2, I have even less CPU now. 129 as opposed to, I think it was 150 before, or something like that. So let me pull info again on the miner 1, 150.94, and the miner 2. Now if you remember, the miner 2 had a base mining amount that was 50% higher than the miner 1. So what we would expect, since everything else is held constant, you know, I've still got all the same skills, I'm in the same ship, I've got the same number of mining laser upgrades, that the miner 2 will be 50% more yield than the miner 1 with its net effect. And pull info, 226.41, and that's correct. So you can see there's a big difference there with using Tech 2 versus Tech 1. And that difference gets even bigger when you factor in the impact of the skills and equipment that you're using. So you can pull in a lot more with better equipment, and better upgrades and better skills will amplify that effect. Everything amplifies everything else. It's like this. I don't even remember what the word is. I don't even remember what the word is. So with mining, this is basically something that's consistent with all variants of mining, be it, standard mining with mining lasers, or if you're using strip miners, or gas cloud harvesters, or ice miners, which I'll get into those three other things later, but the same basic principle applies. You've got a base mining amount, which you can modify with skills and with equipment, and also with fleet boosting as well. There's skills at a fleet level that can also give you bonuses. And let me leadership. Mining foreman. Description. Basic proficiency at coordinating mining operations grants a 2% bonus to fleet members' mining yield per level. So on top of all of the bonuses that I've told you, if you're in a fleet with someone who has the mining foreman skill, you're going to get an additional bonus here. 2% per level for a maximum of 10% at level 5. So that's an additional 10% if you're in a fleet on top of all those mining rates that I told you about. Now, in order to get a sense on exactly how much you're pulling in on a regular basis, you will of course need to take your mining amount and divide it by your activation time, which will give you how much amount you're getting every second. Because you are going to have different activation times for different modules, and you can actually impact activation time, but that gets more into the fleet dynamics, and I'll be doing another tutorial video specifically on mining in fleets another time. So that covers the skills and equipment that focuses specifically on boosting your mining amount. Let's look at something else, and I'm going to go to the mining upgrade skill, which is something you need to use mining laser upgrades. So you start off with your mining level 1 that lets you use a miner 1. When you get it mining up to level 3, you can then start training the mining upgrade skill, which allows you to use these mining laser upgrades. When you get to level 4, you can then start using the miner 2, which gives you the extra bonus there to the amount that you're getting in for having more challenging fitting. So with the mining upgrade skill, it's a little different. It doesn't improve your mining rate. If you look at the skill description, skill at using mining upgrades, 5% reduction per skill level in CPU penalty of mining upgrade modules. So if you remember, and let me go to the variations here. We're interested in this particular one. It's the one I'm using. If you remember, there's a CPU penalty. There's a penalty to the amount of CPU that you've got to work with when you use these modules. But they give you a boost to your mining amount. Now, the skill, I go back to it there, reduces the CPU penalty by 5% per level. Now, I've got mine to level 5, so I'm getting a 25% reduction. The base penalty is 10%. However, the penalty that I actually experience because of my skills is 7.5. So I've got more CPU to work with because of this skill. That gives me more fitting options. It doesn't directly impact my mining rate. The module impacts my mining rate, but the skill helps me get more CPU back from what's being taken away. Now, there's another skill and a module that goes with it that impacts mining as well. This is a little more indirect. The survey scanner. Let me fit that right now, and I'll pull info on it. give you an idea on what it does. Scans the compositions of asteroids, ice, and gas clouds. So, this one's a little bit more complicated. Let me undock here and give you an idea on exactly how the survey scanner works. I strongly recommend using a survey scanner on all of your mining ships. It's a lot more convenient than using the overview. You can use the overview. You know, I've got a mining tab specifically set up over here, and I can sort it and, you know, get a sense on what is what's out there. But the survey scanner lets you be a little bit more strategic about picking your asteroids, because it will tell you what's in the asteroid. So let me get to a belt and show you exactly how it works. And you'll see it pops up here as an active module, but you'll see that the mining laser upgrade doesn't. So mining laser upgrade, you don't need to activate it. It just sits there and does stuff. Survey scanner needs to be activated, though. Okay, so let me show info. Survey scan range is 15 kilometers, which means I need to get within 15 kilometers of an asteroid, and I'll just pick on this Veldspar rock over here. NPCs. I don't want to deal with NPCs right now. This is one of the annoying things about mining that you'll run into everywhere except for maybe 0.1 or 0.9 or 1.0 or 0.9 space. NPC rats will harass you when you mine. I usually don't have a problem with it because I usually have combat drones, but since I'm an adventurer, I'm doing it a little differently. Okay, here we are. This Veldspar rock is within 11 clicks. I'm going to lock it and, you know, do my usual orbit thing because I like orbiting. Now, there's going to be other rocks that are within scan range of this as well. So let me... Well... Yes, okay, so you see that concentrated Veldspar is at 12. Scordite is at 13. There's other stuff that's within 15 clicks. So, let me click the survey scanner, and it'll do its cycle. And take a look. This is the survey results. This is all of the asteroids that are within 15 clicks of me. Concentrated Veldspar. It gives the name, the amount, and also the distance. And it's all broken up by what type of asteroid it is. You know, Kernite, Pyrox, solid Pyrox, and it gives me, yeah, the quantity. Just so you know, the quantity is in the amount of units that are in that asteroid that you can mine. It is not the cubic meters. You still have to multiply by the volume of the ore. So 25,376 units are in that asteroid. 25,376. And its volume is 0.3 cubic meters per unit. So 25,376 times 0.3, 7,612.8. So that's the volume that's in that asteroid. It's about 7,600. That would be since I've got a ore hold of 5,000, that would be 1.5 loads. So if I completely mined out this solid Pyrox asteroid right over here, if I completely mined it out, it would fill up 1.5 ore hold full loads of ore. And that's something I didn't get into previously either, is that asteroids have a finite amount of resources to them. They will, once you mine the amount that's in there, they will disappear. And, you know, they'll come back. These things respawn. They just kind of appear every downtime. Downtime will usually cycle the asteroid belts. But, yeah, there's a finite amount that you can get out of each individual asteroid. So, the survey scanner, really handy tool. Let me go show info on it again. It just needs electronics level 1. There's nothing fancy with this. Electronics level 1, there's a good chance you've already got it. If you don't, it takes like 15-20 minutes to train. Piece of cake. Very, very handy handy module, and electronics is also a very handy skill as well. Just to give you a quick notion on this one, 5% bonus to ship CPU output per skill level, makes fitting easier. Again, another skill does that one. So those are kind of the core equipment and skills for mining, with one exception, which I'll be covering right now, which is your spaceship command skills. Now, I'm an adventurer, and that means which is a mining frigate, and it uses the mining frigate skill for its bonuses. Now, I've shown this to you before. The mining frigate, 5% bonus to mining yield, 5% reduction to gas cloud harvesting duration per level of mining frigate. So just like the other skills, you know, you level up mining frigate, you get that 5% bonus to mining yield. The gas cloud harvesting reduction duration also applies, but you know, since I've only got mining lasers equipped, that's kind of moot at the moment. So I'll get into that part later. But regardless, it's just like all the other mining boosting skills in that each level amplifies it by 5%, and it multiplies across other skills and across the other modules and across other bonuses and whatnot. So you can get this up pretty hefty. Now, that will basically cover your core mining upgrading, how you can get bonuses through modules and enhanced functionality through additional modules and get bonuses through skills. In the next episode, I will introduce you to the mining barge, which makes the Venture look like a joke. The Venture is a good introductory craft. It takes very low skills to get into. I mean, you can train mining frigate pretty much right off the bat. You can train mining level 1 right off the bat if you don't already have it. You probably do, especially if you've gone through the tutorial. So you should be able to jump into a Venture very quickly. And they're not terribly expensive. Let's take a quick look on the market here. Ships, frigates, standard frigates, or Venture. So yeah, between 400 and 500,000 ISK, and you've got yourself a Venture. That's about average cost for a frigate these days. So, in the next episode, I'm going to cover mining barges and some of the nuances with them, especially regarding their specialized mining lasers. Because barges do not use your standard mining lasers; they use something else, and I'll be covering that in detail, plus some of the other nuances and benefits that a mining barge will get you. So I hope to see you guys then. Thanks for watching.